Part 4, U.S. Aggression versus Indian Armed Defense. There are two things that could happen to the Oglala Nation. The positive possibility is that the people will be allowed to live in peace. The other possibility is that the U.S. government will make an openly fascist move to again massacre the sovereign nation. The independent Oglala Sioux Nation is surrounded by the most deadly enemy in the world today. The U.S. government has tightened its security around the 40-acre perimeter of Wounded Knee. The FBI and Justice Department refused to let in food until they were served with an injunction to do so. This happened on March 25th in the U.S. District Court of the Western District of South Dakota. The temporary restraining order allows food, medicine, and cooking fuel into Wounded Knee until Saturday, April 1st, 12 p.m. 6 carloads of food can be taken in each day, as well as all medicine available, if done by the lawyers' committee working around Wounded Knee. People who try overland supply routes are being shot at. The route they must take to infiltrate Wounded Knee has been nicknamed the Ho Chi Minh Trail. The area surrounding Wounded Knee has become a free fire zone. That is, anything that moves will be fired upon by the federal agents. This has included horses and cows. This reminds me of something. The weaponry of the enemy. The over 300 federal mercenaries used flares all night, burning large areas of grassland. The scene is very much like Vietnam. The same tactics and the same weapons. The U.S. government has 15 armored personnel carriers with M60 or mounting for M60 machine guns. They also have M16 automatics, standard issue in Vietnam. M1 carbines, M1 Garands, 7mm Spider, I don't even know what all these kind of weapons are. Spider rifles with infrared night scopes, 36 rifles, and silencers for some weapons. Along with these, they are using flak vests, mace, gas canisters, many helicopters, military vehicles, and small jeeps. The people in Wounded Knee know all this, but they also know what they are fighting for. The enemy does not. This is what makes the difference between a good fighter and a bad fighter. This is also why the U.S. government will lose. The gun for liberation. Armed defense of Wounded Knee is what helps prevent another massacre. All oppressed people have the human and constitutional right to bear arms against their oppressor. In the Oglala Nation, the gun is a tool which is used for self-defense. The police inside Wounded Knee, as in China and Cuba, are unarmed, while the people are armed. The Wounded Knee police do tasks like pumping gas, watching the phone, checking for infiltrators, making sure there's no stealing from each other or fighting, generally straightening out people's problems. The Wounded Knee Police and the Oglala Nation's Border Patrol are two different things and really serve two different purposes. The Border Patrol are armed and have to be. The brothers who do that work spend long hours in the snow and rain to guard the nation's borders. The brothers on the border will be the first to die should the U.S. launch an all-out attack. Growing attempts to defeat Sioux. There have been a number of exchanges of gunfire, almost all initiated by the U.S. government. To date, 3 citizens of the Oglala Nation and the 2 feds have been shot. 50 caliber machine guns and M16s were used on the village of Wounded Knee, hitting the trading post, a church, and a small house where people were staying. There is now indiscriminate firing into the village, and one of those closest to the situation believes the government is really trying to precipitate a fatal incident. An assistant to South Dakota Senator Jim Abourezk has reported that white ranchers in Minor, South Dakota, 70 miles east of Wounded Knee, have bought out the gun store and are forming a vigilante group. The Bureau of Indian Affairs tribal police are being taught in the use of armored personnel carriers and of offensive military tactics by the federal marshals there. Richard Wilson has successfully paid off some Indian people to act as a goon squad that is terrorizing the communities around Wounded Knee. These men are burning homes, raping women, and beating people. The result of these actions is that the people are more united behind the new nation, and support is growing for expanding the boundaries to the entire reservation. These tactics are not new to the Indian people. Historically, Sitting Bull and Crazy Horse were killed by BIA police, the Bureau of Indian Affairs Police, and analogously to the Indo-Chinese strategy of the U.S. trained Vietnamese to kill Vietnamese, things are coming full circle. The struggle in South Dakota is very similar to revolutionary fights that have gone down in other countries, but it still has its differences. At this time, it is a war, but not quite guerrilla warfare. It is more like a stalemate, with one country trying to have its sovereign rights, already negotiated with the U.S., upheld. And the U.S. is trying to revoke these rights, not by logical reasoning, but by military force and lies.